Discipline and alignment. I feel like those are two like concepts that people don't always put synonymously, excuse me, but they really are, right? This is something that I want to talk about right now because I'm super passionate about this. Um, Let me just start off by saying is that alignment can't be manufactured. Alignment kind of finds you through like who you are authentically. That's why it's like super important and why I'm also super passionate about being authentic because the more authentic in your pursuit of, success, I suppose, that you are, like success, happiness, fulfillment, whatever, that you are, the easier it's going to be to find that alignment, right? And so, because the thing is that when people tell you to, like, in terms of self improvement, when people want you or telling you, giving you pointers to improve, they just tell you to be disciplined, right? They're like, oh, just be disciplined. It's that whole thing where people tell you to wake up at 6 a.m. They tell you to, go to the gym. They tell you to take cold plunges, whatever, like all that stupid BS that they tell you to do, to be successful, read books, whatever. And all those things are healthy practices, like or can be, right? Like all those things are can be very productive things based on the person that you are. But at the same time, if you are just going through life and constantly doing that thing just to like appear productive or feel productive, you're not actually going to go anywhere, right? And this is something that a lot of people have talked about before. I'm not sharing anything new about this, but one thing that I do want to say is that I hate the whole buzz around people who just say just to be disciplined. Just be disciplined, right? Just be more disciplined, right? All of the it's just very synonymous from like through the entire population of people because you have all the YouTubers, the self improvement, make money online YouTubers who say, just be disciplined. You're not in enough pain if you don't want to be disciplined. This and that, and in my opinion, I think that they're describing really alignment, but they're calling it discipline, right? Because if you're a person who just wakes up every morning at 6 a.m., does all of that stuff that I just mentioned just to appear productive, but you don't actually like it, you're not going to actually go anywhere, you know? Um, and so you have all these people telling you, oh, just be disciplined. And then it's also like the whole nine to fivers matrix type people, which if that's you again, like I've said this before, there's no problem with that. But it just everybody just says just be disciplined, you know? And it's like it doesn't work like that. You can't just be disciplined, you know? You have to actually like something and because when you're saying just be disciplined, you're inferring to just grind it out. And I don't know if I've talked about this on my channel, but that doesn't work. Just grinding it out doesn't work. Like I'll give you an example from my personal life. Is I remember, very recently actually, like this year, kind of end of last year, this beginning of this year, I was working in life insurance, commission only life insurance sales, and their whole thing was just go in, make 2 or 300 calls a day, and grind it out, right? And eventually you'll be successful. But the thing is that if you don't actually like it, you can be disciplined, but you're and make the 200 or 300 calls a day, but because of your energy, like you don't actually like doing it, you're probably not going to be actually be successful. Which that's another thing for another topic for a different video. The whole like frequency energy thing, which you've also probably hopefully heard other people talk about. If not, then I definitely want to make a video on that. Um, but yeah, you're not actually going to be successful, and additionally, you're probably not going to actually be able to make 2 or 300 calls a day in the first place, like, which was my whole thing. Like, that was why I ended up quitting, because I'm like, well, I'm not, I don't actually like doing this. And it's like, I'm not disciplined enough at this. And it wasn't because I have the lack of ability for discipline, because that's the other thing that is annoying, is that people, when you lack discipline at certain things like that, especially when they come in and they tell you you have to be disciplined or whatever. Like, I don't know if this makes sense, but when you lack discipline, people automatically assume that you're just like a loser. People automatically assume that you don't have it, so to speak. But that's not what it is at all. It's just the fact that you just don't like it. Because alignment is way more important than discipline. Discipline follows alignment. Like, alignment is way more significant and way more important than discipline. Because discipline follows alignment. Like, I don't know if that makes sense at all. Like, if there was a different word for discipline that I could use, I would use it. But that's the best way that I could put it. I don't know if that makes any sense, you know? But because that was the thing. I was sitting there for 6 months and making two to 300 calls a day, inconsistently, barely making any sales, barely making it by. And they would always be like, just be more disciplined, just this and that, do more calls. And it's like, I can't just do more calls or be more disciplined. Like, this is as disciplined as my alignment has gotten me to with this, you know? And so, and in the back of people's minds, they'll be like, oh, well, this person that doesn't have it, they're not disciplined. And it's like, failing to realize that for me personally, I've had very disciplined moments in my life. Like, I'm very capable of being disciplined. Because the other thing that I, want to share as an example is, I used to be like a super hardcore runner. Like, in high school, I was super committed to running cross country and track. And in college, I was super committed to running cross country and track. But I was like 100% aligned with it. And so the difference between people who fake discipline and real discipline, which is what I really want to get to, is that real discipline comes from alignment, which doesn't feel like discipline. If it just feels like you're living. Like, when I was running, I was running 6-7 days a week. I was running up to 50, 60 miles a week, which is not like insane by like any standards or whatever. That's pretty typical for a serious runner. Like, especially like my speed, like my mile time was around 4 minutes 30 seconds, just under that, and stuff like that. Like under 16 minute for 5K and stuff like that. So that's pretty typical for someone who runs those type of times. But I think it didn't feel like I was grinding every day, because I would constantly get people like commenting and loving me and praising me and stuff like that for my discipline. They'd be like, "Oh, you're so disciplined. Like, you you never miss a day, this and that." And it wasn't because I was forcing myself to do it or I was grinding. I was just living, and I enjoyed doing it. Because that's the other thing. Like, back to the insurance thing. Like I remember, because there's a difference between, because that's real discipline, right? Then there's fake discipline. Fake discipline is the discipline that you like absolutely fake, and that you're not aligned with, and that you struggle with, and therefore you have vices with that um like with that discipline, like, if you're forcing yourself through the discipline, you're gonna have all these vices and stuff like that. And to give you, it's like those people who say, oh, like, you have to be disciplined every single day, wake up at 6 a.m. every single day, don't miss a day. It's like, when you're truly disciplined and aligned with that thing, missing a day or two, or even a week if you have to, or whatever, doesn't affect you. It doesn't affect you at all. Like, to give you another example, when I was running, I had a major surgery for transitioning from high school to college that had me out, like, running for literally like 6 to 7, 8 months, like almost an entire year, to be honest. And when I was back running, you better freaking believe I was just as disciplined as I was when I was not like when I was running before. It didn't affect me because I was aligned with it. But then you hear all these people who are like, "Don't miss a day, don't miss a week." It's like if you're not able to miss a day or a week doing that thing, and you get lazy because you missed a day or a couple days or a week or even way more than that in my case, then you're not actually aligned or disciplined. Then you're not even actually like really disciplined at all. You're not. Like if you have to force it that hard, you're not actually disciplined. Like back to the insurance thing, the guy, one of the guys, because if you were in the insurance kind of industry, or if you're familiar with that industry, if you've been in it, whatever, right? If you understand how it works, it's kind of a pyramid, right? So there's you, then there's like the company or whatever that you're with, and then there's one above that, and then one above that, and then the IMO, like the independent, or the IBO IMO, like independent brokerage. I forget what the O stands for or whatever. I forget. But so you understand how it works. So the guy that was right below the IBO, because there was a CEO and then there was him, right? That was the big master runner of my like division, or quote, I guess you could call it, that I was in, right? That like the company, the big company that I was under. He once said that he has every single like part on his calendar like filled up, right? Every single thing on his calendar is filled up from when he wakes up to when he goes to bed. And now I would understand if you have a full calendar of like meetings with people, right? Reminding yourself to like go to meetings with people. That's fair. Like especially if you're working in a business like that, and he was, in his case, he was making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month, so he probably had lots of recruiting calls, lots of calls like business related, whatever, right? So that makes sense from that point of view, like having a bunch of Google Meet, Zoom things on your calendar, throughout your work day. That makes sense. But he was going beyond that. He had when he was waking up, then like the 5 or 10 minutes when he was getting out of bed and getting coffee, then when he was going to the gym, and then this and that. And I'm just like, if you have to force discipline that hard, then you don't actually like what you're doing. You don't actually like the life that you're living. In most cases, there's always outliers. There always is. But in most cases, you don't actually like what you're doing. If you feel like you're grinding, if you feel like you're just like, because if you feel like you're grinding, you're probably just trying to get through, and like if you have to focus that hard, it's like, nah, dude, that's just not it. I don't know, personally. So I mean, I don't know. This video is getting a little long, but if you take anything from this video, it's that focus on alignment first, which you probably heard that so many times, which I hope I was able to share something new in this video, like a new perspective. But alignment comes first, because you will not have the discipline that you need to become successful unless you are aligned. I promise you that. I promise you. Because I've been in so many different situations where my alignment wasn't necessarily 100%, like for an insurance in that example, and it just ruined my whole, like, everything, like it just gets in the way. Because all those successful people that, because like alignment just goes back to everything, right? Like all those successful people who say, I knew it was going to happen before it happened, or all those successful people who take all those risks and stuff, all those risks don't happen from discipline, right? Like just like it happens from expecting it to happen because you know it's going to happen, because you're aligned with it, because you know that's your purpose, you know? So that's what I want you to take from this video. Don't listen to all the people who are just telling you, oh, if you want to improve your life, just be disciplined. You're not going to just be disciplined, Like it's the same thing with it's literally the exact same thing with all the people on January 1st who say, I'm going to get in good shape this year and I'm just going to be disciplined, and then they don't get in shape because they're not aligned with the gym. They don't want to go to the gym, you know? Maybe they like to run. Maybe they like to bike. Maybe they like to do some other form of exercise. I don't know. Maybe they just don't like to exercise at all. I don't know. Like, that's why most people can't do it because they're not aligned with it. They don't care that much. It's just not their thing. And that's okay. Like, we can't just sit here and judge people because it's not their thing and they're not aligned with it. It doesn't mean that they're a lazy fuck. It means that they're just it's just not who they are. It's not their thing. And they can be aligned and disciplined with something else. Like everybody, I truly believe that everyone can be aligned and disciplined with certain things that they're skilled at. But I think people automatically assume that, oh, because you're not disciplined in your job, or you're not disciplined in all these stereotypical things, or you're not disciplined with the gym, and you're not, disciplined with this and that you're just a lazy fuck. Like, no, it's just not who you are, and that's fine. We can't judge people because of that. So, excuse my language a little bit, I guess, at the end, but um, yeah, I just wanted to make a point. That's all. So, yeah, that's all I really have to say. Find alignment first, then you'll find discipline. Literally, like that, like that's the formula. And your alignment is your purpose. That's just how it is. So, anyway, have a great rest of your night or day or whatever.